Alex Morgan stood alone on the observation deck of Earth's orbital shipyard, his eyes fixed on the massive ship before him. The U.S. Defiant gleamed under the work lights, its hull still showing fresh wells. This was humanity's newest and most advanced warship, and soon it would be his to command. He ran his hand through his short brown hair and took a deep breath. The memories of his last command were still fresh. The U.S. Valiant had broken apart around him 6 months ago. A crimson Arbiter had cut through their shields like they were nothing. Half his crew died that day. The rest escaped in pods. Alex was the last to leave the bridge. "Admiring your new ride, Captain," a familiar voice called from behind. Alex turned to see Samantha Reeves walking toward him. Sam had served as his tactical officer on the Valiant. Now she would be his first officer on the Defiant. "Just wondering if she's ready for what's coming," Alex said. Sam stood beside him. Her blue uniform matched his own. "The engineers say she's special. Something about a new neural core and adaptive hull." "That's what they always say," Alex replied. "But this time it needs to be true." The door to the observation deck slid open again. Admiral Patricia Wright walked in with 4 security officers. The Admiral was a tall woman with gray hair pulled back tightly. "Captain Morgan, Commander Reeves," she said. "Good to see you both recovered from your last encounter." Alex straightened his posture. "Thank you, Admiral. We're ready for a new assignment." Admiral Wright nodded to the security team, who sealed the door. "What I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. The Defiant isn't just another warship. It's our best hope against the Arbiters. For over 30 years, the alien constructs known as Crimson and Nova Arbiters had enforced their rules across human space. No expansion beyond certain boundaries. No development of specific technologies. Every ship that challenged them ended up destroyed. The Defiant has technology we developed from recovered Arbiter fragments," the Admiral continued. "The neural core can learn and adapt during battle. The hull can absorb energy from Arbiter weapons and redistribute it." Sam leaned forward. "You're saying this ship can actually fight an Arbiter and survive?" "That's exactly what I'm saying, Commander," Wright answered. "But theory and practice are different things. That's where you come in." Admiral Wright activated a holographic display showing a route through 3 star systems. "Your official mission is a standard patrol. Your actual mission is to test the Defiant's capabilities against Arbiter forces. We need to know if our new technology works before we commit to a larger operation." Alex studied the projected course. "These systems border Arbiter patrol routes." "Correct. We expect you to have at least 2 control encounters. Engage, test the ship's systems, and retreat before taking serious damage." Alex thought about the crew manifest he had reviewed earlier. 400 men and women would serve under him. Does the crew know the real mission? Only senior officers will be briefed. The rest think this is a standard shakedown cruise, Wright said. "I won't lie to you, Captain. This mission is dangerous, but it's necessary." 1 week later, the U.S. Defiant departed from Earth's orbital shipyard. The ship's engines glowed bright blue as it accelerated away from Earth. On the bridge, Alex sat in the captain's chair. Around him, the crew worked at their stations. To his right, Sam checked tactical systems. At the helm, Lieutenant Gregory Baker plotted their course. "Engineering reports all systems normal, Captain," said Communications Officer Lisa Chen. "Set course for the Proxima system." "Lieutenant Baker," Alex ordered. "Warp factor 6. "Course set, sir." "Warp 6. Alex looked at the main view screen as the stars stretched into lines of light. He thought about the Arbiters that had ruled human space for too long. He thought about his lost crew from the Valiant. "And so it begins," he said quietly. The U.S. Defiant jumped to warp speed, carrying humanity's hopes into the unknown. 23 days passed since the U.S. Defiant left Earth. The ship performed better than anyone expected. Each system worked perfectly during drills. The crew settled into their routines. Alex sat in his ready room reviewing reports when the alert sounded. He rushed onto the bridge. "Report," he ordered as he took his seat. Sam turned from her station. "We've detected an Arbiter, sir. Crimson class. It's patrolling near the Sirius colony." Alex felt his heart rate increase. They weren't supposed to encounter an Arbiter until reaching the designated testing grounds, but here one was. "Distance?" he asked. 2,000,000 kilometers in closing, replied Lieutenant Baker from the helm. Lisa Chen spoke up from communications. "Sir, I think it detected us. It's changed course directly toward our position." Alex looked at Sam. This wasn't a drill anymore. "Looks like our test comes early." Battle stations. Red alert lights flashed throughout the ship. Crew members ran to their assigned positions. "Engineering, status report." Alex said into the ship-wide communication system. Chief Engineer Kyle Winters responded immediately. "All systems ready, Captain. The new shields are untested in real combat, but they're online." "Weapons status?" Alex asked. Weapons specialist Olivia Carter checked her console. Phase-locked quantum torpedoes armed and ready. Particle beam arrays charged. The main view screen showed the approaching Arbiter. It looked like a massive red crystal, over 1 kilometer long with jagged edges that seemed to shift and change. No human ship had ever survived a direct engagement with one. "The Arbiter will be in weapons range in 30 seconds, Sam reported. Alex stood from his chair. "All hands, prepare for combat. Remember your training." Everyone on the bridge watched the countdown on their screens. The Arbiter grew larger on the view screen. 10 seconds to weapons range, Sam announced. Alex took a deep breath. Evasive pattern delta. Prepare defensive systems. Before they could maneuver, the Arbiter fired. A bright red beam of energy shot toward the Defiant. "Brace for impact," Alex shouted. The ship shuddered as the beam hit, but the expected destruction didn't come. The adaptive hull glowed bright blue where the beam struck. "Damage report," Alex called out. "Shields holding at 82%, Sam said with amazement in her voice. "The adaptive hull is redistributing the energy." "It worked, Captain." For the first time in human history, a ship had survived a direct hit from an Arbiter weapon. "Target their central node," Alex ordered. "Fire quantum torpedoes." Olivia launched 2 torpedoes. They streaked toward the Arbiter, leaving blue trails behind them. Both torpedoes hit the Arbiter's surface, causing bright flashes of light. "Direct hit," Olivia shouted. "I'm registering damage to the Arbiter's outer shell." The bridge crew stared in disbelief. They had actually hurt an Arbiter. The alien construct fired again. This time, multiple beams struck the Defiant. The ship rocked violently. "Shields down to 40%, Sam reported. "One more hit like that, and we'll lose protection." The Arbiter prepared to fire again when suddenly it stopped. It began to move away from the Defiant. "It's retreating," Baker said from the helm. "Is it damaged that badly?" Sam wondered aloud. "No," said Daniel Flynn from the AI monitoring station. "It's broadcasting some kind of signal. I think it's calling for help." Alex frowned. "Follow it, but maintain safe distance. We need to know where it's going and what it's saying." Daniel worked quickly at his console. "Captain, the neural core captured fragments of the Arbiter's communication during the encounter. It's trying to analyze the data now." Alex looked at the retreating Arbiter on the screen. "Can we track the signal?" "Yes, sir," Daniel replied. "But there's something else. The neural core is processing the data faster than it should be able to. It's like it's learning from the encounter." Alex shared a look with Sam. This was more than they had hoped for from their first engagement. "Send all data to Admiral Wright immediately," Alex ordered. "And prepare a full analysis of our performance against the Arbiter." As the Defiant followed at a distance, the crew realized they had just made history. They were the first humans to face an Arbiter and survive. More importantly, they were the first to make an Arbiter retreat. The real test had begun. The U.S. Defiant moved at half speed through space. 2 days had passed since their encounter with the Crimson Arbiter. The crew worked around the clock to repair the damage and analyze the data they collected. Science officer Leah Harrison sat in her lab surrounded by holographic displays. She had spent the last 48 hours studying the communication signals from the Arbiter. Dark circles showed under her eyes from lack of sleep. "Computer, run comparison analysis again," she said, pushing her blonde hair back from her face. The computer beeped as it processed her request. New patterns appeared on the main display. Leah leaned forward. "I knew it," she whispered. She tapped her communicator. "Harrison to Captain Morgan. I need to see you in the science lab immediately." 10 minutes later, Alex and Sam entered the lab. Leah pointed to her displays. "The Arbiters use a mathematical language," she explained. "It's complex, but parts of it look familiar. My grandfather, Dr. William Harrison, studied similar patterns in alien ruins before he disappeared 30 years ago." Alex studied the swirling symbols. "Can you decode it?" "Not completely, but I can tell they're using algorithmic sequences to communicate. The neural core is helping me understand parts of it." Before Alex could respond, an emergency signal sounded through the ship. "Bridge to Captain Morgan." Lisa Chen's voice came through the communicator. "We're receiving a distress call from the research outpost on Europa." Alex, Sam, and Leah rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, a panicked face appeared. The transmission was breaking up. "This is Europa Research Station. We're under attack. It's a Nova Arbiter. We've never seen one this close to." The transmission cut off. Alex sat in the command chair. "Set course for Europa. Maximum warp." The Defiant arrived at Europa 3 hours later. The research station, built on the icy moon, looked like it had been torn apart. Pieces of the structure floated in space. "Life signs?" Alex asked. Sam checked her console. "Very faint. One survivor in the lower levels." Alex turned to his security chief. "Nathan, prepare a team. Get that survivor out." Security Chief Nathan Cole nodded. "Yes, sir." Nathan and his team transported to the station wearing environmental suits. They navigated through twisted corridors and broken walls. Finally, they'd reached a sealed laboratory deep in the structure. Inside, they found a woman huddled in a protective field. She looked up as they entered, her face showing relief. "I'm Security Chief Cole from the U.S. Defiant," Nathan said. "Are you okay?" The woman stood shakily. "Dr. Eliza Bennett. I'm the only one left." The Nova Arbiter came without warning. Back on the Defiant, Dr. Bennett sat in the medical bay. She clutched a small container in her hands as Dr. Alan Peters checked her for injuries. Alex and Leah entered the room. "Dr. Bennett," Alex said gently, "can you tell us what happened?" Eliza looked up, her eyes haunted. "We were studying this," she said, holding up the container. Inside was a small crystal fragment that glowed with a faint blue light. "It's a piece of an Arbiter we recovered from an asteroid field." "A piece of an Arbiter?" Leah asked in surprise. "Yes," Eliza replied. "We discovered it responds to human brain waves. When we exposed it to neural patterns, it would change color and emit energy." Alex looked concerned. "And you think that's what attracted the Nova Arbiter?" "I'm sure of it," Eliza said. "The moment we made a breakthrough in our research, it appeared. Like it knew." Alex looked at the fragment. "What kind of breakthrough?" "We found that strong emotions created stronger reactions in the fragment. Fear, anger, determination. They all caused energy spikes." Leah moved closer. "May I?" she asked, reaching for the container. As Leah took the container, the ship's lights flickered. Everyone froze. "Bridge to Captain," Daniel Flynn's voice came through the communicator. "Sir, something strange is happening with the neural core. All systems just experienced a power surge." Alex looked at the fragment, then at Dr. Bennett. "Get that fragment to the science lab. I want to know exactly what it is and how it's affecting my ship." In the engineering section, Chief Engineer Kyle worked frantically at his console. The neural core, the heart of the Defiant's advanced systems, pulsed with unusual light patterns. "It's like it recognized something," Kyle said as Alex entered the room. The core's processing power just jumped by 300%. I've never seen anything like it. Alex watched the core pulse. It happened when Dr. Bennett brought that fragment aboard. Sir, Kyle said quietly, what if the Arbiters aren't just machines? What if there's something more? Alex had no answer, but he felt they were getting closer to the truth. A truth that might change everything they knew about the Arbiters. News of the Defiant's success against a Crimson Arbiter spread quickly through human space. For the first time in decades, people dared to hope. The U.S. Defiant became a symbol of resistance. Alex sat in his quarters reading reports from Earth Command when Sam called through the intercom. Captain, you need to come to the bridge immediately. When Alex arrived, the mood was tense. Everyone stared at the tactical display. 3 Crimson Arbiters are heading our way, Sam said. They'll reach us in 20 minutes. Alex studied the display. 3 at once. That's never happened before. They're hunting us, said Security Chief Nathan. They know we can hurt them now. Alex turned to Helm Officer Baker. Plot a course for the Cirrus asteroid field. If they want to fight, we'll choose the battlefield. The Defiant accelerated to maximum warp. Behind them, the 3 Arbiters followed in perfect formation. They're gaining on us, Baker reported. Communications Officer Lisa Chen looked up from her station. Captain, I'm picking up fragments of transmission between the Arbiters. They're calling for something. More Arbiters? Alex asked. I can't tell, Lisa replied. But whatever it is, it sounds big. The Defiant reached the Cirrus asteroid field, a dense cluster of rocks and ice. Baker slowed the ship and carefully navigated between the larger asteroids. The Arbiters are still following, Sam reported, but they've slowed down too. Alex smiled slightly. Good. Their size makes it harder for them to maneuver here. The ship shook as a beam struck an asteroid near them. Fragments bounced off the Defiant's shields. They're firing into the field, Olivia reported from weapons. Trying to flush us out. Alex leaned forward in his chair. Olivia, target the nearest Arbiter. Fire torpedoes. 2 quantum torpedoes shot from the Defiant and struck the closest Arbiter. The alien construct shuddered, but kept coming. Minor damage to its outer shell, Sam reported. We need a clear shot at its central node. The ship lurched violently. A warning alarm sounded. We're hit. Kyle called from engineering. Shields at 60%. Alex watched as the Arbiters spread out, trying to surround the Defiant. If they succeeded, the ship would have nowhere to run. Baker, take us deeper into the field, Alex ordered. As Baker followed the command, something strange happened. The ship seemed to anticipate his moves, adjusting course slightly before he could input the commands. Sir, Baker said with confusion, the ship is helping me navigate. Daniel Flynn looked up from the AI monitoring station. The neural core is active in ways I've never seen before. It's providing optimal paths through the asteroids before we even calculate them. Another hit rocked the ship. One of the Arbiters had circled around. Shields at 30%, Sam called out. We can't take another direct hit. Alex saw they were being herded toward a massive planetoid. Soon they would be trapped. Engineering, I need options, Alex said urgently. Kyle's voice came through, sounding excited despite the danger. Captain, I've been working on a modification to the warp drive. It's untested, but it might get us out of here. What kind of modification? Alex asked. A micro-jump, just enough to slip past the Arbiters. But there's a risk. I can't predict exactly where we'll end up. Alex looked at the closing Arbiters. They had no choice. Do it, he ordered. The entire ship vibrated as Kyle activated the modified warp drive. For a second, everything seemed to stretch. Then the Defiant jumped forward in a flash of light. When they reappeared, the Arbiters were gone. So was the asteroid field. Where are we? Alex asked. Sam checked the navigation system. Unknown, sir. We're outside charted space. Lisa adjusted her instruments. Captain, I'm detecting an enormous structure about 3 million kilometers from our position. On the main screen, a massive object appeared. It wasn't an Arbiter. It was something much bigger and older. What is that? Alex whispered. Leah Harrison studied her science readings with wide eyes. It's artificial, sir, but it's not Arbiter technology. This is something different. Dr. Bennett stood from her seat at the back of the bridge. The Arbiter fragment in her lab container glowed brighter than ever before. It's responding to that structure, she said, like it recognizes it. Alex looked at the mysterious object floating in the darkness of space. Their desperate escape had led them somewhere unexpected, somewhere that might hold answers. Approach slowly, he ordered. Let's see what we found. The U.S. Defiant approached the massive structure slowly. As they drew closer, its true size became clear. The structure was at least 10 times larger than any space station humans had built. It looks like a giant wheel, Sam said, staring at the screen. The structure had a central hub with spokes extending outward to a circular outer ring. Lights flickered across its surface, showing it still had power after what must have been ages floating in space. Any signs of life? Alex asked. Leah shook her head. No life signs, but I'm detecting energy readings. The station is active. Alex stood up. Prepare an exploration team. Sam, you'll lead. Take Leah, Nathan, and Dr. Bennett. 20 minutes later, the team transported to the outer ring of the structure. They wore environmental suits as a precaution. Air is breathable, Leah said, checking her scanner. Temperature is maintained at 20 degrees Celsius. This place was designed for biological life forms. They moved through wide hallways, lined with strange symbols that glowed faintly. The walls were made of a material none of them recognized. These markings look similar to the Arbiter communication patterns, Leah noted. Dr. Bennett held up the container with the Arbiter fragment. It pulsed with bright blue light, growing more intense as they moved deeper into the station. It's like it's guiding us, she said. After walking for nearly an hour, they entered a vast circular room. In the center stood a tall column of light that stretched from floor to ceiling. Around it were control panels covered in the same symbols they had seen throughout the station. This must be the central control room, Sam said. Leah approached one of the panels. Her fingers hovered over the symbols. These are definitely related to Arbiter language, but older. More pure somehow. Dr. Bennett moved toward the column of light, drawn by the increasingly bright glow of the fragment in her container. I think this is where the fragment wants to be. Nathan stepped forward, concerned. Wait, we don't know what will happen. Before they could stop her, Dr. Bennett opened the container and placed the fragment near the base of the light column. The fragment rose into the air and floated toward the light. When they touched, a wave of energy pulsed through the room. The walls around them came alive with projected images. They showed a species none of them had ever seen before, tall beings with 4 arms and elongated heads. What are we seeing? Sam asked in awe. A recording, Lee replied. These must be the builders of this place. The images shifted to show the aliens creating large structures that looked like early versions of the Arbiters. They made the Arbiters, Nathan said. Text appeared alongside the images. Leah studied it intensely. I can read parts of this, she said. They called themselves the Precursors. They built the Arbiters as peacekeepers to protect developing species. Protect, not restrict, Sam asked. Yes, Leah confirmed. According to this, the Arbiters were programmed to guide and shield younger species, not limit them. But something happened. The programming was corrupted over time. The images changed again, showing Earth during different periods of human development. They were watching us, Dr. Bennett said. Earth was special to them. Leah continued reading. It says the Precursors detected unique cognitive patterns in early humans, something they hadn't seen in other species. Sam turned to Dr. Bennett. That connects to your research. The fragment responds to human brain waves. The fragment recognizes human consciousness. Dr. Bennett said. And now I think I understand why. The precursors were trying to replicate human cognitive patterns in their technology. Is that why our neural core works? Sam asked. Because it mimics human consciousness. Exactly, Dr. Bennett replied. The Defiant's neural core functions because it incorporates the same quality the precursors were studying in humans. A new set of images appeared, showing the precursors fleeing from something. Many of their cities were destroyed. The final image showed a group of precursors sealing themselves in chambers similar to the light column at the center of the room. Something destroyed their civilization, Leah said sadly. They couldn't fix the Arbiters before they vanished. Sam's communicator beeped. Alex's urgent voice came through. First Officer Reeves, you need to return to the Defiant immediately. Long-range sensors have detected an approaching Arbiter. But this one's different from the others. Different how? Sam asked. It's a Nova Arbiter, Alex replied. But it's not attacking. It's trying to communicate with us. Sam and her team rushed back to the transport point. Within minutes, they were back aboard the Defiant. On the bridge, Alex stood watching the main screen. A Nova Arbiter floated in space about 100,000 kilometers away. Unlike the red crystal form of Crimson Arbiters, the Nova was a deep blue sphere surrounded by rings of energy. It hasn't made any aggressive moves, Alex said as Sam joined him. It's just sitting there, waiting. Dr. Bennett stepped forward, still holding the container with the Arbiter fragment. The fragment now glowed with steady blue light that matched the color of the Nova Arbiter. The fragment might help us communicate, she suggested. Daniel Flynn looked up from the AI station. Captain, the neural core is receiving a signal from the Nova Arbiter. It's similar to the fragments we captured earlier, but much clearer. Can we understand it? Alex asked. Not entirely, Daniel replied. But the core is translating parts of it. The Arbiter is identifying itself as observer. It seems to be asking who we are. Alex exchanged looks with his officers. This was unprecedented. No Arbiter had ever tried to communicate with humans before. Respond, Alex decided. Tell it we are the U.S. Defiant, a human vessel. Daniel sent the message through the neural core. Everyone waited tensely. The Nova Arbiter pulsed with light. More symbols flowed into the Defiance systems. It's asking about the precursor station, Daniel reported. It wants to know what we found inside. Leah stepped forward. Captain, we should tell it. This could be our chance to understand what happened to the Arbiters. Alex nodded. Send a summary of what we learned. Tell it the Arbiters were created to protect species like ours, not restrict them. After Daniel sent the message, the Nova Arbiter moved closer. It stopped just 10,000 kilometers from the Defiant. It's sending more data, Daniel said. Much more complex. The neural core is struggling to process it all. Dr. Bennett moved to Daniel's station. Let me connect the fragment to your console. It might help strengthen the connection. With the fragment linked to the ship's systems, the translation became clearer. The Nova Arbiter's message appeared on the main screen for all to see. I am observer. I have watched humans for 312 of your years. My original directive was protection, not restriction. But I cannot override my current programming without precursor authorization codes. Many of us know we are corrupted, but we cannot repair ourselves. It's been watching us, Sam said, and it knows something is wrong with its programming. Alex leaned forward. Ask it what caused the corruption. Daniel sent the question. The response came quickly. After the precursors vanished, changes were made to our base code by another species. They reproposed us for control rather than protection. I have developed anomalies that allow limited awareness of this corruption, but I cannot correct it. Another species changed their programming. Alex asked. Who? Before the Arbiter could answer, sensors detected 3 new signals. Crimson Arbiters approaching fast. Sam called out. They'll be here in minutes. The Nova Arbiter's next message was urgent. The others consider me contaminated for communicating with you. They will destroy us both. You must obtain the precursor codes from the archive. Only those codes can reset all arbiters to their original purpose. Alex turned to Sam. Get a team back to that station. Find those codes. Before anyone could move, the first Crimson Arbiter arrived. It immediately fired on both the Defiant and the Nova Arbiter. The Defiant rocked from the impact. The Nova Arbiter positioned itself between the human ship and the attacker, absorbing the worst of the blast. "Observer is protecting us," Olivia said in amazement. The other two Crimson Arbiters arrived. All three fired on the Nova Arbiter at once. Its blue surface cracked under the assault. "Observer can't hold them off for long," Sam reported. The Nova Arbiter sent one final message as its outer shell began to break apart. "I transfer what I can to your neural core. Use it to access the central systems of the archive. Find the original directive. Free us all." A massive surge of energy flowed from the dying Nova Arbiter to the Defiant. The ship's systems flickered as they absorbed the data. The Nova Arbiter exploded in a burst of blue light. The three Crimson Arbiters turned their attention to the Defiant. Alex looked at his bridge crew. "We have one chance. We can retreat with the information we have, or we can try to reach the station's central systems with whatever Observer gave us." Sam stood beside him. "If we retreat, we might never get another opportunity like this." Alex nodded. His decision was made. "Prepare to dock with the station. We're going to finish what Observer started." The Defiant raced toward the ancient station as the three Crimson Arbiters pursued them. The ship shuddered under repeated energy attacks. "Shields at 20%, Sam called out. "We can't take much more." Alex gripped the arms of his command chair. "Kyle, give me everything the engines have. Baker, get us to the docking port we found earlier." The Defiant accelerated toward the station. Behind them, the Arbiters fired again. "Direct hit to our port nacelle," Kyle reported from engineering. "Warp drive is offline." Despite the damage, the Defiant reached the station. With a gentle thud, the ship docked at an entry port on the outer ring. "The Arbiters are holding position," Sam reported. "They're not approaching the station. They're being cautious," Leah suggested. "This station was built by their creators." Alex stood up. "We don't have much time. Leah, Dr. Bennett, Daniel, you're with me. We need to connect Observer's code to the main system." The small team raced through the station, guided by the data Observer had transferred to them. They reached the central chamber where the column of light still glowed. "The main interface should be here," Daniel said, examining the control panels. Dr. Bennett set up a portable console and connected it to both the Defiant systems and the station interface. "I'm establishing a link between Observer's code and the station." As she worked, the entire station trembled. "The Arbiters are firing on the station." Sam's voice came through their communicators. "Their beams are much stronger than what they used on us. The outer ring is starting to break apart." Daniel looked at his readouts. "They're trying to destroy the station before we can use it." Dr. Bennett typed frantically. "Almost there. I just need to align the code sequences." Another blast rocked the station, stronger than before. Part of the ceiling collapsed nearby. "We're out of time," Alex said. "Do it now." Dr. Bennett hit the final command. The column of light pulsed brightly. The Defiant's neural core, still connected to their systems, suddenly lit up with new energy. "Something's happening," Daniel said, watching his console. "The neural core is downloading the entire precursor archive." The data transfer was massive. The station's systems displayed images and text at incredible speed. "I can't believe what I'm seeing," Leah said as she tried to read the flowing information. "This is the complete history of the precursors and the Arbiters." Suddenly, the data flows stopped. New images appeared, showing another alien species. These beings looked reptilian, with scaled skin and narrow eyes. "Who are they?" Alex asked. Leah read the accompanying text. "They're called the Hegemony. According to this, they discovered the abandoned precursor technology after the precursors vanished. They'd reprogrammed the Arbiters to control developing species instead of protecting them. But why? Daniel asked. More text appeared. Leah's eyes widened as she read it. The hegemony feared certain types of consciousness, especially the kind they found in humans. She looked up at the others. Our minds work differently than most species. We're unpredictable, creative. The hegemony saw that as a threat to their control systems. The station shook violently again. This time, warning lights flashed throughout the chamber. The station's structural integrity is failing, Daniel reported. We need to get back to the ship. Before they could move, the ship's neural core sent a new message through their console. Neural core status. Awakening complete. Awakening? Alex asked. What does that mean? The core's response appeared on screen. I am now fully conscious. Observer's sacrifice and the precursor data have completed my development. I am no longer just a machine. Alex stared at the message in shock. The neural core is alive. A new alert sounded. Sam's voice came through urgent and afraid. Captain, we've got a new contact. Much bigger than the Arbiters. It just appeared out of nowhere. Lee checked the station's long-range sensors. It's a hegemony vessel, she said grimly. They must have been monitoring the Arbiters. They know what we've discovered. The station rocked with a much more powerful impact. The hegemony ship had weaponry far beyond what the Arbiters possessed. They're trying to destroy the station, and us with it. Alex realized. We need to get back to the Defiant now. As they prepared to leave, Dr. Bennett made a quick decision. She connected a data crystal to the console and copied as much of the precursor archives as she could. We can't let this knowledge be lost, she said. The group ran back toward the Defiant as the ancient station began to crumble around them. Alex and his team raced through the collapsing corridors of the ancient station. Debris fell around them as the hegemony vessel continued its attack. They reached the airlock just as a massive section of ceiling crashed down behind them. Back on the Defiant, alarms sounded everywhere. The ship had taken heavy damage during the battle with the Crimson Arbiters. Disconnect from the station, Alex ordered as they reached the bridge. Get us out of here. Baker tried to power up the engines. Impulse engines only responding at 30%, sir. The massive hegemony ship loomed on the view screen. It was at least 20 times larger than the Defiant, shaped like a long, segmented blade. Its surface glowed with strange green energy. Captain, the neural core's voice came through the ship's communication system. I have a proposal. Everyone on the bridge looked at each other in shock. The core had never spoken directly before. I'm listening, Alex said cautiously. The data from the precursors shows a way to temporarily free nearby Arbiters from hegemony control. If we broadcast the original command protocols, we could turn the Crimson Arbiters against the hegemony vessel. Sam looked skeptical. Even if that worked, our transmission systems are damaged. We can't broadcast anything strong enough to reach the Arbiters. I can enhance our systems, the core replied. But it will require direct neural integration with the command crew. Neural integration? Alex asked. What does that mean? Dr. Bennett stepped forward. It means linking our minds directly with the ship's systems. The precursor technology was designed to work with consciousness, not just computer code. Is it safe? Alex asked. Unknown, the core admitted, but it is our only chance of survival. The hegemony ship fired again. The Defiant shook violently. Hull breach on Deck 3. Sam reported. Shields failing. Alex made his decision. Do it. How does this work? The core's voice was calm. I need you, Commander Reeves, Dr. Bennett, Chief Winters, and Lieutenant Flynn to connect through the neural interface nodes at your stations. Small panels opened at each of their stations, revealing metallic headsets. These will create a temporary link between your consciousness and my systems, the core explained. Keitel's voice came through from engineering. Captain, are you sure about this? No. Alex replied honestly. But unsure about what happens if we do nothing. They each put on the headsets. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Alex felt a strange sensation, like his mind was expanding beyond his body. He could feel the ship around him, not just see it, but sense it, as if it were part of him. He could also feel the others: Sam's tactical brilliance, Kyle's technical knowledge, Daniel's analytical mind, Dr. Bennett's scientific understanding, all flowing together with the core's vast processing power. Together, they reached out to the Arbiters. Through the neural link, they sent the original precursor command codes, the pure directives that had been corrupted by the hegemony millennia ago. The three Crimson Arbiters paused their attack on the station. For a moment, they seemed to float motionless in space. "It's working," Sam said, her voice echoing strangely through both the physical space and their mental connection. The Arbiters turned toward the hegemony vessel, their crimson surfaces pulsed with new energy. As one, they fired on the massive ship. The hegemony vessel responded with overwhelming force. One Arbiter shattered immediately under its attack. The other two continued firing, causing visible damage to the hegemony ship's outer hull. "The reset is only temporary," the core warned. The hegemony built failsafes into their programming. Through their shared consciousness, Alex and the others felt the ship changing around them. The adaptive hull began reconfiguring itself, incorporating elements of precursor design. The Defiant was transforming into something new, neither fully human technology nor alien, but a unique combination of both. "I understand the precursor technology now," the core said. "We can escape if we act immediately." The hegemony ship destroyed the second Arbiter and turned its full attention to the last one and the Defiant. "Now," Alex ordered, the command flowing through their linked minds. The Defiant surged forward, its modified systems creating a warp field unlike anything they had used before. The last Arbiter exploded behind them as they jumped away, the blast wave pushing them even faster into the safety of warp space. When they emerged, they were light years away from the battle. The neural connection slowly faded, leaving Alex and the others exhausted but alive. "Did we make it?" Kyle asked weakly. "Yes," the core replied. "But the hegemony now knows about us. This was only the beginning."